And our last story today is from Nigeria. The country's inflation has dropped below 20% for the first time in 3 years. This drop is driven by a moderation in food prices. The data released by the National Bureau of Statistics showed that the Consumer Price Index dropped to a little over 18% year-on-year in September. This is down from over 20% in August. Food inflation, which accounts for the bulk of household spending, also eased to nearly 17% in September, from nearly 22% in August. And this reflects improved supply conditions and seasonal harvests. According to the Nigerian authorities, food and non-alcoholic beverages, restaurants and accommodation services, and transport contributed the most to inflation. The latest decline in inflation comes as Nigerians continue to grapple with the economic fallout of sweeping reforms that were introduced by President Bola Tinubu. Tinubu came to power in 2023 and initiated major reforms such as liberalizing the exchange rate and ending costly fuel subsidies. These measures have triggered a sharp rise in living costs. However, now that inflation is easing, the World Bank has supported the reforms introduced by President Tinubu. In its latest country development report, the World Bank said that its economic outlook for Nigeria remained cautiously optimistic, and growth is expected to rise slightly from 4.2% in 2025 to 4.4% in 2027. However, the report also highlighted that even though the Nigerian economy was stabilizing after Tinubu's sweeping reforms, millions of citizens have fallen into poverty and food inflation remains a major concern. The World Bank report said that poor households who spend up to 70% of their income on food have seen the cost of a basic food basket rise fivefold between 2019 and 2024. As per the latest data, about 61% of the country's population, that is nearly 140 million people, were now living in poverty. This is up from 40% or 81 million people in the year 2019. Citing these figures, the World Bank report warned that gains from the sweeping economic reforms were yet to translate into better living standards. But President Tinubu remains hopeful that the difficult economic reforms will bear the desired fruit. Earlier this month, on Nigeria's Independence Day, President Tinubu said that the worst is over. In his address to the nation, Tinubu defended his economic reforms that had triggered inflation and widespread public anger.
Seeds of those difficult but necessary decisions are bearing fruits. In resetting our country for sustainable growth, we ended the corrupt fuel subsidy and multiple foreign exchange rates that created massive incentive for a rentier economy, benefiting only a tiny minority.
And now it remains to be seen when and how President Tinubu's economic reforms will improve the daily lives of Nigerians, especially of those who are poor, vulnerable, and have been hit the hardest by his reforms.
Want the facts?
The latest developments?
News that gets straight to the point.
Well, we've got all three just for you. This is Firstpost Live, a brand new show, your window into what really matters.
Don't miss it.